I don't know about you, but I can't figure out this Jacksonville Jaguars team. They can lose to the Houston Texans 37-17 or beat the best team in the AFC 25-20 as they did against the Buffalo Bills in London on Sunday morning. Tony Wiggins from Locked On Jaguars joins me now. And Tone, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. So what version of this team are they closer to? The team that we saw just get smoked by the Houston Texans, or the team that we saw pretty thoroughly outplay the Buffalo Bills?
So here's what's funny about that. That's a game to game variance, right? So I said this earlier, the Jaguars will take you from Bora Bora to San Quentin, but it's not week to week. It's not quarter to quarter. It's not half to half. It's play by play, right? You don't know where you're going to, it's like you're spinning a wheel, and then that's the reality that you have to deal with. So I pride myself on really knowing what makes this team tick. Last year I said they needed to play ahead. They came from behind and made the playoffs in a whole bunch of games. This year, I came up with this other formula that they need to know who they are. Well, none of us know who they are. So here's what I'm going to do. Peter Bukowski, right here in front of you. These are my notes for the rest of the year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm going to just throw them out. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Y'all just going to do what you're going to do. I know y'all going to be fine. Just do it however you got to figure it out. Just get it done. It does not matter. I don't know. I don't have any answers. All of this is totally unconventional. It beats every analytical metric there is.
Yep.
And then with a guy like me that thinks football, it just goes out of the window. They either figure it out or they don't. And you just got to deal with the result and deal with the roller coaster that's going to happen while you're trying to watch it.
So this offense with Trevor Lawrence this season, they have been this close. And for those of you not watching, I'm putting my fingers very close together. They finally got Zay Jones to catch a pass in the back of the end zone. It seemed like this offense was close to clicking. And then they go out against this Bills team and they hang almost 500 yards of offense on Buffalo. Does this version of the offense, understanding Trey White is hurt for Buffalo and all those things, they got the advantage of staying in London because they played there last week. Buffalo had to travel. But does this version of the offense look like the version you expected to see at the start of the season?
At times, and then they fumble the ball. They get to the red zone like 4 times and don't score. So you're thinking like I'm literally, Michael Irvin said at halftime they should have been up 21 points.
Yeah.
I even one point, I don't know you follow. At one point I said, man, just kick a field goal on second down. Just get some points. Because if you stay out there long enough, you're gonna screw it up. It's like playing poker with a bad hand. You hanging there long enough, you're gonna go broke. So the thing with them, man, is that you just don't know. They break all the rules. But the one thing you can't say about them is that they're not talented. That's why anybody that doesn't think Trevor Lawrence is super talented, you see those throws this kid makes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, you like them to you'd like them to show up the offensive line. You think that that's where the consistency is going to come from. Like if they really, really get a really good, solid offensive line, that's when the identity behind it comes, because usually that's when all the breakdowns happen and that's when things get really haywire. But man, they're just finding a way to win. They're finding a way to figure it out, and they're 3-2, and they come back home and they got a nice little 3-game stretch before they really get into the meat of their schedule.
Well, and you mentioned they're 3-2. So are the Buffalo Bills now. And I know it's early. I know it's just early October, but this AFC is going to be an absolute bloodbath in the playoff positioning battle. This is a crucial win for Jacksonville, who might need it when it comes down to playoff time. And as you mentioned, yes, week to week, game to game, play to play, we don't know what this team is going to get. But we saw last year, Tony, this team can be dangerous in the playoffs if they get there for exactly the reasons you laid out. They can be as good as any of these teams.
They absolutely can. So for fans, that's frustrating because they're maddeningly inconsistent, but they're wildly entertaining at the same time. So you want to be a part of it. For 3.5, 4 hours, it's going to be a roller coaster. Now you're going to be at Cedar Point somewhere, but you also, if you're playing against them, you better watch out for their unpredictability. It's like the dog you pat that loves you to death. Well, you go pat him today, he might bite you. It's unpredictable. It's wild. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They play like a bunch of junkyard dogs 1 minute. And you just think with Doug Peterson and his pedigree and the way he's always done things that they'd be so buttoned down. Nah, man, they ain't buttoned down. They coming in like however they want to dress. They break the dress code. It's like throw all of your rules just like I did that play sheet out of the window, because that's what you're going to get with Jacksonville this year.